Hi, I'm Janine. Welcome to my sewing room. Today I'm going to take you through the Designs by JuJu Easy Zipper Bag in the Hoop, and we're going to go step by step. First, let me show you the pattern. The Designs by JuJu Easy Zipper Bag in the Hoop comes in 6 sizes. This is a bag that's completed entirely in your embroidery machine hoop. If you have a jumbo hoop, you can create the bag in an 8x14, 8x10, or 8x12 size. For smaller embroidery machine hoops, there's a 6x10, a 5x7, and a 4x4 size. Today we're going to go step by step to create a 5x7 easy zipper bag in the hoop. Next, I'll show you what supplies you need to get started and where to find your pattern. To find the Easy Zipper Bag in the Hoop pattern, go to the Designs by JuJu website, and in the search box enter Easy in the Hoop Zipper Bag. When your search results come up, you'll see an image of a pink zipper bag. Tap the Easy Zipper Bags 2 in the Hoop design, and that's the design you want. Add it to your cart, check out, and let's get embroidering. Here are the basic tools you're going to need to create a zipper bag. You're going to need your choice of fabric. Fat quarters are a great pick for this. You also might find some scraps around your sewing room that are large enough to create the bag. You're going to need some thread. You don't need specialty embroidery thread. You could use regular all-purpose thread for this project, which makes it a great project for beginners. You'll need some pins, a ruler for measuring your fabric, and some tearaway stabilizer. I'm going to use Tear Easy, which is a lightweight tearaway stabilizer that's readily available at most fabric and quilting stores. The other specialty item you will need for this project is probably already in your house, and that is some painter's tape or regular tape to hold down the parts of the design as we add them in our hoop. And last but not least, do not forget your sewing machine needle. This project you're going to be sewing through a zipper. I suggest a size 14 needle. If you're going to be adding stabilizer or batting or foam, I recommend a Microtex size 14 needle because it will be perfect for going through all those extra layers. To create the Easy in the Hoop zipper bag, you'll need to cut your fabric into 4 pieces. For the purpose of this tutorial, I have cut each piece in a different color. The lining needs to be cut to 9 by 7 inches. The back is cut to 9 by 7 inches. The top front of the bag is cut to 9 inches by 4 inches, and then this piece is folded in half and pressed, and this fold line is what will go beside your zipper. The bottom or the lower front is cut to 9 by 9 inches, and this piece is also folded and pressed, and that fold line will go along the bottom side of your zipper. As for the zipper, you will need one 9-inch zipper with nylon teeth. Your sewing machine will actually be sewing right across the zipper tape and right across the teeth, so you must have a nylon zipper, not a metal zipper. And optional, if you want to have a loop on the end of your bag, you will need a small piece of ribbon 4 inches or less that will be attached and be a grab or pull. You could use grosgrain ribbon, you could use twill tape, you could use a piece of self fabric folded in fourths and stitched. Lots of options for your loop there. Alright, well, you get your fabric cut, and I will meet you over at the embroidery machine to get started. I have the Easy Zipper Bag in the Hoop pattern loaded into my machine. You can see it just looks like a silhouette outline, and you can see that it says that there are 6 color changes in this design. The first sequence to this design is illustrated in green. The thread color changes are merely so that the machine stops for the various sequences in the design. The green sequence is going to outline our bag and show us the placement for our zipper. Now that the machine's finished, let's go over to the cutting table and I'll show you how to place the zipper in the design. Alright, with the black thread I have used, you can see that the first color sequence, the green sequence, has stitched an outline for the bag and also a placement area for the zipper. Your zipper is placed between those 2 lines, and the zipper stop goes away from you and the zipper pull goes towards you as you're sitting at your sewing machine. If you're in doubt, the end where the machine stopped sewing, the last color sequence, is the same end where your zipper pull will go. Now, to hold the zipper in place where we're sewing, you can either use pins, which is my personal favorite. The sewing area is clearly outlined in the black thread, and I can see that I am placing a pin well outside of the stitching area. If you do not feel comfortable using pins to tack your zipper in place, this is where you can get your tape out. You can use Scotch tape, or my favorite is painter's tape because it peels off easily. It becomes perforated as it is stitched through, and you can place it alongside the zipper and anywhere else you would care to tack your zipper. Both ends are a good place to secure with a couple pieces of tape. Alright, let's go back over to our embroidery machine, and we are going to sew the second sequence. It's designated in a dark blue color. We're back at the sewing machine. You can double check at this point that your zipper pull is towards you and at the same end where your needle is ready to begin the second color sequence. This sequence is going to tack the zipper down. We'll let this finish sewing, and then I'll pick up with you at the other end. Alright, we finished sewing the second sequence color, and now it's time to remove any pins and any tape that you had securing your zipper in place for cutting. As you can see, the painter's tape pulls away quickly. It's perforated by your needle and comes off very easily. Next, we're going to start adding fabric. We're going to start adding our bag pieces. Our top front, which is folded in half, and you can see the fold edge is beside the zipper. And the bottom front piece of fabric, which you can see is also folded in half, and the folded edge is alongside the zipper. You want to make sure that your fabric is covering all the area that's going to be your finished bag. And you're going to want to line it up alongside the zipper teeth. Then you're going to want to secure your pieces of fabric alongside your zipper teeth with some tape. in a few places to hold it securely while your machine stitches down your zipper and tacks the entire design in place. So this next color sequence is indicated by the color red. Let's go over to the machine and let's stitch this down. And we're ready to sew the third stitching sequence in this design. Note that our zipper pull is still outside of the design area, and we have our top and bottom of our bag snugged up to our zipper. Alright, I will let this finish stitching, and I will meet you back over at the cutting table to show you the next step in our design. Alright, as you can see, our sewing machine has finished putting the top stitching on our zipper and sewing around our entire Easy in the Hoop zipper bag. Now is the time to remove any tape or fastener that you used to secure the sides of your bag, or any pins if you chose to carefully pin outside the stitching area. You'll notice at the back end of the zipper where the sewing machine traveled from the bottom fabric across the zipper and to the top, I placed a piece of tape right at that point. If you've added any batting between the layers for extra cushioning, sometimes it is quite a big jump from the zipper up on to your top fabric. Putting a piece of tape right at that junction helps your embroidery machine to walk across the zipper and step up onto that top fabric without creeping underneath the fabric and pushing it away. So that's the perfect place to add a piece of tape. If you don't want to add a piece of tape, you can also take a piece of stabilizer and tape the stabilizer down top and bottom so that when the machine walks over, it has a flat surface for transitioning between the bottom and the top of the bag. Now at this point, we're ready to move on to stage 4 of the design, which is indicated by a light blue color. Also, this is the point in the bag where if you have decided to add some other embroidery or some monogramming, here's a sample of a bag where I added some monogramming, this is the time to do it. So you would put your monogramming in at this step. After you've finished any embellishment or adding any other designs you'd wish to add, we're going to continue with adding the back to our bag. The most important thing at this step is to move your zipper stop partway into your bag so that you can turn your bag and have the zipper open to turn it right side out. Now at this stage, if you have decided that you want to add a zipper pull, you will make a loop of fabric from ribbon, twill tape, or even self fabric, and you will put it at the end of the zipper. Determine how long you want your loop. You could put a really long loop or you could put a really short loop. I'm going to make mine about 1.25 inches, and you're going to use a piece of tape and you're going to secure your loop right over the end of your zipper. If you wanted, you could put a loop at both ends of the bag. They're great for grabbing when you want to pull the zipper open or closed. So your loop is optional. Embroidery at this stage is optional. Moving your zipper to the center at this stage is crucial. That is not optional. Now, the next piece we add is we're going to put on our back. Our back is 9 by 7, and if you have a fabric that has a right side and a wrong side, it's going to go right side down. This is the front of your bag, this is the back of your bag, and just like any other sewing project, right sides go together. Smooth out your back. It helps if your fabric is pressed. I like to press mine before I start and add a little spray starch so that the fabric has just a little bit of body. Now, to keep my back fabric tight, I like to add a few pins outside my stitching area. I will usually put one on each side. And I can feel on the back of my frame that my stitching area is right here and I am outside of it. And I feel underneath for my stitching area here. And I put a pin on the edge, and that will keep my back tight. You can also use tape at this stage, and you can tape it on either side, whichever method you prefer. Now we're going to go over to the sewing machine. And this is going to attach the back of our bag to the front of the bag by sewing all the way around the entire design. So I'll meet you back over at the sewing machine. Alright, this is the fourth sewing sequence designated by light blue, and we're attaching our back to the front. I will let my machine finish up sewing this sequence, and I'll meet you back at the cutting table to add our lining. As you can see, our embroidery machine has attached the back all the way around the entire Easy in the Hoop zipper bag. Next up is adding the lining. First, we'll remove our pins, and we'll grab our lining piece, which remember was gold in color. Now, if you're using a fabric that has a right side and a wrong side, you're going to want to have the right side up, and this fabric is not attached on the top, but rather on the bottom of your embroidery frame. So you're going to take your lining fabric right side up, and you're going to set your embroidery hoop on top of your lining fabric, which is right side up. And the next sequence is going to stitch your lining, leaving an opening for turning. Your sewing sequence starts at the bottom and goes around to the bottom, and it will leave you about a 3-inch opening in which to turn. Now, some people have said they go ahead and attach the lining on the top side, and that does work. It is fine, but the inside of your zipper bag will have raw edges. When you attach the lining to the underneath side of your embroidery hoop, all your raw edges are going to be enclosed between the lining and the back of the bag, and the inside of your bag will have no visible raw edges. So let's secure this with a few pins that are going to be well outside of our stitching area. And it's always harder to try and pin something and keep it in a camera so you can see, but I will do my best. I'm going to pin it in 4 places. Try and get it in each corner, and as you practice pinning things in your hoop, you get better with that dipping in and dipping out through your tearaway stabilizer. Sort of have to angle it in and then just give the stabilizer a little push with your finger to get it up into place. There we go. All right, so let's flip it over and see how we did. I feel a bump or bubble on this one. I'm going to adjust this one. Let's flip it over and show you. See how each of my pins is well outside of the sewing area. And here's our lining. It's on the back. A little bit crooked, but if I were doing it without a camera, I would hold it up and pin it on the back and square it. There's also a suggestion that you use a spray away temporary adhesive like 505 and attach it with temporary adhesive. My problem with that is that you're attaching the inside lining of your bag to your bag with it, and then you need to launder or dry clean in order to remove that stickiness. All right, so we have our lining attached to the back side of our hoop, and we're ready to go back over to our embroidery machine and do the 5th stage of our design, which is indicated in a yellowish beige color, and that will attach our lining to our bag. And here we go. This is the 5th color sequence in our design. All right, we'll let this finish sewing and we'll meet you over at the cutting table. All right, so I lied about meeting you at the cutting table. I just wanted to show you that the design shows a 6th color. It's indicated by dark green thread choice. That 6th color is so that your sewing machine stops along the edges of the bag and doesn't return to the center position where it might clip your zipper pull that you have hidden inside the bag. Now over to the cutting table to pop this easy zipper bag in the hoop out of the hoop. Alright, so our machine finished that last sequence. It's time to remove any attachments, pins, or if you used some tape to secure your lining, time to remove those. And it's time to release our embroidery hoop. We're going to loosen it and we're going to pop it out, leaving just our design. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to remove some of this excess tearaway stabilizer. Now the most important thing when you're removing stabilizer is to not tear into your design, but to tear away from. So I'll do a little starting tear coming in from the corner, and we will pull it away. We'll rotate, we will pull it away on the next side, and this is just tearing it away like you would a perforated envelope or something, and we have to travel around all 4 sides of the bag to do that. It's easiest when your pieces of fabric are still long and you have something to hold on to as you get it torn away. Now we can double check that our zipper pull is not outside the bag, that it's inside the bag, and I can feel it inside the bag. If you have forgotten to move your zipper pull into the inside of the bag, don't throw away your project now. Don't panic. You can carefully, with a seam ripper, remove these handful of stitches, maybe 5 or 6 stitches in each of these rows of stitching, and scoot your zipper pull to the inside of your bag. Then you'll have to use your sewing machine in a conventional manner to restitch that shut, but the project is still salvageable. But it's a good thing to check because the next stage we are going to cut. So you can either use a rotary cutter and a ruler and cut, leaving a 1/4 of an inch on all 4 sides of the bag, or you can use the traditional scissors. I'm going to use the scissors. On the bottom of my bag, where that opening was left for turning, I like to cut it just a little bit longer than around the other side of my bag, maybe 3/8 of an inch. And around the rest of the bag, a 1/4 of an inch trim will do. You're going to cut off the excess parts of your zipper on both sides. And all the way around, rounding those corners. And I don't know why that piece of lining didn't trim, but we will snip it off like that. All right, let's get rid of our fabric scraps here. Now our Easy in the Hoop zipper bag is starting to look, well, like an inside-out bag. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to turn it. Now don't panic when you turn it, because you're really just turning your bag inside out, and this is stuffing all your raw edges between the back and the lining where they won't be seen. So when you get this all turned and your corners poked out, you're looking at the inside of your bag. This is now the inside of your bag. You have the right side of your lining facing out, and you have the folded back of your bottom and the folded back of your top. And hidden between your back fabric, which remember was pink, and your lining fabric are all your raw edges. All right, now we need to tear away the stabilizer from the inside of the bag. And I'll tell you, you'll need a scissors handy to do this step. Carefully pull away from your stitching, not tearing into, pull away from your stitching all the way around your bag. A good place to start is at that bottom opening where you can get a little hole and grab your stabilizer. So keep pulling your stabilizer away. When you get up near your zipper on both sides, you're going to need a scissors, because there is a thread that marked where you were to place your zipper that runs across on both sides, and it's attached to the stitching that outlined the zipper bag, and you're going to have to snip that in order to remove the rest of the stabilizer. Once you've snipped those threads, you can remove the stabilizer from the zipper area. Next, you'll look for an opening over your zipper, and you will get that to start tearing away on both sides. Carefully across your end from the other side of the zipper. I'm sure this is thrilling, watching me remove stabilizer. All right, there we are. And last but not least, you need to get it started on the top. Sometimes a little thumbnail action will get it pulled away from those stitches, and you have the same thing on the top. See this thread running through? Mine's easily visible because I used black thread for visual reference. Once I pull the stabilizer away from the zipper on both sides, I'm going to need to take a scissors once again and snip that thread on the right end and the left end, and then I can tear away, not tear into, tear away is the rule with stabilizer. Tear that all away from the bag. All right, so there is the inside of our bag. I guess I got a couple little hangers hanging on there that will. So, now you'll notice there's the opening which we turned it through. You're going to want to fold that in on both sides and hand stitch that little opening closed. You can use a whip stitch, or you can use a ladder stitch where you take a stitch on one side, then the other, back and forth, and tighten it up. Or if you're really in a hurry and you fold and you press that very carefully, sometimes you can edge stitch it with your sewing machine right along that bottom. and nobody will notice because it's going to be on the inside. All right, so let's see what our bag looks like. The second time you turn your bag, you're actually turning it right side out. So you've hand stitched your opening closed, and as you turn it, you're going to push out all of your corners all the way around and press it a little, and there is our rainbow colorful easy in the hoop zipper bag all completed. Now that you've completed one easy in the hoop zipper bag, you're probably going to want to make a few more. So I have a few 5x7 easy in the hoop zipper bags just to give you a little inspiration. Here's a plain easy in the hoop zipper bag, no tag, all one fabric with an accent color zipper. Here's another one with an accent color zipper and some top stitching that matches the zipper and shows up on the bag in a nice contrast. This one has a twill tape loop. Here's a zipper bag with a little bit of cotton batting in it. To add just a little more body and weight, it has cotton batting between the layers of the front, the top, and the back. And this one has a hook, so it can be hooked to a bag or purse handle or key ring. Next up, you saw before, how about making one in a fancy fabric, some scraps of satin or something. A bride could store her jewelry for her wedding in it, or an heirloom antique piece of jewelry could be stored in it. Aside from using satin, what about some clear vinyl for part of your bag? The clear vinyl was attached using a piece of self-folded fabric that was taped to the vinyl to keep it straight before it was put in the embroidery machine. Vinyl not your style? How about some mesh fabric? It's see-through yet breathable, great for putting a few toiletries in for while you're at the pool. Customize your bag by making individual pockets after you've taken it out of the hoop, and completed it by sewing dividers in between the layers. Don't like any fabric you see in the store? Make your own sashiko fabric in your embroidery machine, and then use your sashiko fabric to make a sashiko 5x7 zipper bag in the hoop. Designs by JuJu has over 80 designs of sashiko fabric. Or get creative with some of your fabric selvage edges and make your own fabric with some pieces of selvage, and then mismatch your fabrics all the way around. This one has some sewing themed zipper tape fabric at the top and a sewing themed fabric on the back, all mismatched and scrappy look. All right, well, have fun creating your own easy in the hoop zipper bags. I know you're going to want to create an entire bevy of bags perfect for gift giving and everyday use. Have fun!